Welcome, Planeswalkers, to another episode of the Hive Mind. This is the show where I planeswalk, I traverse the multiverse in search of other planeswalkers to try to get their magic origin story. So today, I'm joined by a very special guest, planeswalking all the way in from Southeast Philadelphia. This is Tantus Narivan Dracovin from the Dracovin Empire. Thank you so much for joining me today, sir.
Glad to be here.
Awesome. So, this is kind of cheating. We've kind of done a show before already, so we have a familiarity already.
Yep.
Awesome. So, thank you again for having me as a guest on discussing tabletop.
Sure. Love to have you again sometime.
Perfect. Absolutely. We'll get that going. So, I just want to ask you just kind of more of your background in Magic the Gathering and what kind of is your origin story?
Well, I guess we can start with my background in Magic the Gathering. I actually started back in Unlimited. My brother went and bought like a box. Well, he started buying some packs of Magic, and then he bought a box of Magic, a couple of them, of Unlimited. And back in the day, it doesn't have value. So he's like, you know what? I like black, I like white, I like blue. I don't like green or red. Here you go. That's how most of my cards got. And like he threw me a couple of artifacts. I get lands. We play. He drugged me to the local gaming store that used to exist in the area we were at. Been long since gone now, that one. The Reclining Dragon, I think it was called. And so I got into Magic. And I think I progressed through Magic then up into, like, I played it I remember in 6th grade elementary school. I found a whole bunch of people that would play Magic, so we'd play Magic together. And I really sort of kept up with it, but not really playing with anybody for a good number of years after that, because I sort of knew some people that were interested in Magic, like in middle school, but not really. And then in high school, I randomly found someone while I was playing around with a deck that's like, you have a Magic deck? I do too, at lunch. Who introduced me to the gaming group, the gaming club at my school, where I met most of my friends I played Magic with even till today. It was soon after that I technically did take a break from Magic. Basically after Apocalypse, I stopped collecting a lot. I occasionally got a pack, but it wasn't until Scars that I jumped back in just recently.
Wow. That seemed to be a lot of people's jumping back into point.
Well, I would have gone back in Zendikar because people were like doing like the Rise of the Eldrazi and stuff, and I thought that was really cool. But by the time I really had some, extra cash to throw myself into at least a pre-release and check stuff out, it was Scars time, so I really didn't backtrack a lot at that point.
Sure. Yeah, that was kind of my reintroduction into Magic. I've said on this show before, I kind of started in Ice Age, and then I kind of left during Urza's Saga kind of killed it for me for a minute, but I came back in the original Mirrodin block, left for a while, came back. I was like looking at Innistrad. I'm like, wow, these are vampires and werewolves, and this is awesome. And then my first pre-release back was in Return to Ravnica, and I've been snake bitten ever since.
Yeah, it was something about like, because I was so old school when they were like doing like the modern concept of cards, equipment, planeswalkers.
Sure.
They kept doing stuff that was like, I don't know about this. I was suspect at the time.
Your history with competitive play?
Ooh, I've been to a couple local tournaments. Those are mainly what I do. I've been to a lot of pre-releases. I think the biggest pre-release I went to was the Apocalypse pre-release.
Wow.
I had to drive with a bunch of people to it. And I mean, they had this, whatever group had done it, rented out a cafeteria from a school on a Saturday.
Wow.
It was huge.
That's insane.
I ended up getting I did really well. So I got like half a box of Apocalypse just by playing.
Nice.
And I ended up with like 3 of the pre-release cards, which are like Sanskrit Fungal Shamblers. They're really... It's like, I can't read this. I can't read this.
Exactly. Man. Well, I could tell by your channel, Tantus, that you're really you really like the delving into the lore. You're very much a Vorthos, I think. Am I wrong?
I do like it to a good degree. I think it's less the lore, I would call it, and the story.
Okay.
Because I'm big on role-playing games, and I like crafting my own stories.
Sure.
I also like stories that people put together, too, and find them interesting. Because I can then find that and put together my own story based off of that, almost. It's sort of like crafting my own world is fun. You know, it's always fun. But I always find it that interesting of taking something someone else has done and putting a unique spin on it that I feel like makes it almost better in my eyes.
Absolutely.
And so that's why I love learning a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And you do a great job with your magic, your kind of your spotlights on the sets and the different characters, and anything in the future where you're going to kind of make your own lore in a magic setting that you would put on the channel.
Actually, there is something I've scheduled, which I'm not. It's in the really early working. Wizards of the Coast released the Plane Shift, the Dungeons & Dragons rules for using magic planes.
Absolutely.
I want to live stream some of those with some players and eventually put them up on the channel after I'm done. I plan to sort of do a couple sessions for each, rotate through them. You know, probably go back and forth between them until they add more in. But they have Kaladesh, Innistrad, and Zendikar. They're cool settings to use, definitely.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, count me in. I'll throw in my hat for one of those if you'll have me.
Sure, you know, we'll work it out, definitely. As I said, it's in the beginning. I'm just starting to do live stream role-playing games on my Twitch channel now, so, you know, I have a whole list of them I want to try to get on the schedule, and this is one of them.
Sure. That sounds awesome, man. So what's your, like, if you go to your channel, you are a very busy bee. You are constantly putting out content, not just for Magic, but for all these different kind of role-playing games, whether it be Advanced Dungeons & Dragons, or Vampire the Eternal Struggle. I don't know if I said that right. Is it Vampire the Eternal Struggle?
That technically is true, but it's Vampire the Masquerade's the role-playing system. The Eternal Struggle is the card game, which I just released the first episode talking about.
Oh, okay. So I wasn't too far off.
You were.
So what's your all-time favorite RPG?
Many people will kind of scoff me over this, but I have to say my all-time favorite RPG for the setting alone is Shadowrun. But it's my most hated system to run. It's like, the amount of stuff you have to put together for your own adventures you're writing yourself is insane. Because it's a futuristic setting where fantasy exists. So you have, like, you know, cyber combat, magic, all this stuff going on at the same time. There's levels you have to work out. And the characters you play are effectively on the wrong side of the law. They do illegal things for companies, countries, other important peoples of power. When they need them done, they go into there. So you have to work out all these levels of security and everything they're going to face against, and you have to at least have a general idea of it. I love pre-made adventures for it. Don't get me wrong; those are so much easier to run, so much less work.
Nice.
But trying to build your own game for it, it takes a lot more time than anything I would ever do for like Dungeons and Dragons.
Wow. Do you get to do it often, or?
Rarely, and most of the time my games tend to fall apart, unfortunately, just because of scheduling, because I always somehow put them in the wrong schedule.
It's a lot to keep track of, like you said. So recently you took a trip to Gen Con, is that correct?
PAX South.
PAX South, that's right. Can you kind of run down some cool stuff that you saw over there?
Actually, there was some very interesting things. If you're interested in indie video games, there was plenty of them. I saw a bunch of them that were really cool. I think it was Forbidden Tower was kind of neat. There's a couple others that I'm probably going to forget their names of, just because I'm bad with names, remembering them over long periods of time. But they had like you could have played the Nintendo Switch. You could have they had like a Resident Evil 7 experience there.
Nice.
I got nowhere near the Switch because it was such a crowd.
Sure.
But it had some great Magic tournaments there. I unfortunately never seemed to have the right time to get into them. Mm-hmm. But it was really cool that they had a huge section for doing like lots of little tournaments throughout the days. And my favorite thing, of course, was the indie tabletop section, where they had like, I think it was like 6 or 7 indie developers that had their games on display. There's some really cool ones there. Some really weird ones too, but they were fun to play. It was surprising that I would say, when you talk about PAX, people think all the video game size, but they did have a pretty good tabletop section, which was kind of what I was focusing on a lot more anyway.
Absolutely, yeah. I always watch the streams that like Wizards puts out from PAX, I guess PAX West or PAX North, whatever it is. I guess the original PAX, the one that's up in Seattle. And
Yeah.
it always shows, like, Magic always has a great turnout, probably because, WotC's based right there. But it
Yeah.
always seems like a great tabletop showing and a Magic showing.
Well, I'm looking forward to PAX Unplugged, which will be in my in my own area in Philadelphia this I think November. So hey, that's going to be all tabletop.
Wow, you're gonna be right at home, sir.
Yep. I am well ready for this.
Oh man, well I need some reporting from the ground, so.
I'll do my best too. Like
Nice.
live tweet it a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm getting better at vlogs too, so maybe I'll be actually put out a decent vlog. I never put out my second one for my second day. But I haven't had the time afterwards.
Yeah,
I might still do it just to like give it people out for people, but again, I ran out a lot of time for it.
Yeah, well you gotta
It's just
enjoy
busy
it too.
It's just been busy the last month.
Sure. Well, that's a good thing.
Always something.
Yeah.
That's true.
So tell me about just kind of the different shows that they would find on the Dracovin Empire. Anything that you would specifically want to spotlight?
Sure. First off, I do talk about the rules of a lot of different role-playing games. I have, Pathfinder, Dungeons & Dragons, the 5th edition, the current one. I do talk about the Advanced Dungeons & Dragons, Shadowrun. I have a whole listing of those you can look into. I have, of course, my new series, Gathering the Role, where I discuss whatever's come out in card games, in tabletop games, in role-playing games during the week. And I expanded it recently into talking about everything. So, I mean, I include every card games, even like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh!, which, truthfully speaking, I'm not really behind. But you know what? As someone that's reporting stuff, I got to talk about it and learn about it. And so that's why I'm sharing it.
Awesome.
Yep. I also have my 2 Magic series we talked about. I have a history of where I talk about, like, I've been going time-wise through the sets. Mm-hmm. And then I have one where I talk about pretty much lore. I choose a land in one of the planes, planeswalker or a legendary character, talk about their history, talk about everything like that. Just sort of introduce you to whatever this place is. It's one I do enjoy doing a lot, too. Let's see here. Other important series that I can talk about. I have, my... One that is always a favorite of mine is my Besem/anime review series.
Nice.
Because if Besem is a role-playing game based around anime,
Mm-hmm.
I effectively review an anime and then I give suggestions on how to add it into your Besem game.
Wow.
And I go through every genre for that one. There are so many weird genres of anime out there that I've figured out ways you could role-play them.
Nice.
Sometimes it surprised me I can come up with these ideas about them.
So you say different animes. Is it like actual animes, like say like a Ghost in the Shell or like a Vampire D or something like that?
Yes, actually. I think I have talked about Vampire Hunter D and Ghost in the Shell both on already.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, traditionally I sort of go through once for the current season that's out to a certain point in time. And then I sort of switch back to, I've been moving backwards in time on the other end, so I'm sort of splitting out, backwards in the seasons. And then when I run out of ones from the season I want to talk about, I usually just choose some random classics or something that I think, this one from the 90s, maybe people want to learn about this one that's pretty famous. Something like that.
That's incredible, man. That's a lot to keep track of. Like you said, you're a very busy man.
I get out 14 videos a week, and then I have all my stuff that I've been adding on Twitch. I have Discussing Tabletops, which is on Saturdays, and I'm starting role-playing games, and then I do still video game live streams on Twitch, which I put the VODs up on my channel too, just because I can.
Yeah.
And it's just something I do at like late at night at like 11 o'clock my time, so it's just like, I'm going to play something anyway to relax a little bit, might as well stream it.
Absolutely. Content is content, sir.
Yes.
That's awesome. So we're going to go into the segment, which I like to call Face the D20. So I'm going to roll this D20, and we'll roll it a couple times, whatever you feel comfortable with. And each number on the die represents a question that's non-magic related, but just so you guys get to know a little bit more about your favorite content creators. So I'm going to roll it, and we're going to see what we land on. So we got a 9. And a 9 is... Who is your role model? Wow.
God. What kind of role model are we talking about? That's a good question.
We'll say your role model into, creating your channel and kind of, doing what you're doing now. Kind of narrow it down.
Actually, Actually, I can answer that pretty well because that kind of goes into the history of my channel a little bit. I went on YouTube originally to technically watch really bad bootleg anime. And I ran into Let's Plays. And that's where I actually kind of got into it because I was watching a bunch of Let's Players, and particularly two of them. I came into... you probably heard of Markiplier. I started watching him around 1 million. I started watching him randomly because he was doing horror games that I couldn't buy at the time.
Right.
And I love horror games, so it was sort of like, oh, wow, I can enjoy these horror games without having to actually buy them because I couldn't afford them at the time at all. I mean, I can't afford many now, but I'm better off than I was then.
Right.
And I moved into a couple other Let's Players, and just sometimes hearing them talk about their things about doing something, I felt like I wanted to do something too. But I knew I wasn't built to be like a Let's Player, to do video games and stuff. And I'm like, what can I do? And at the time, I sort of have switched grounds to working on some of my own game designs and stuff, which is very slowly processed, but I'm hoping to eventually get stuff out. But I felt, you know what? I could probably put myself out in the world as more like be an expert. Because the thing is, I thought in the long run, if eventually I get a following as an expert, should I put something out there, it's a lot easier. I have a name out there.
Absolutely.
If I'm a no person starting like a Kickstarter from nothing, that's not as easy as if like, this guy I know about, he's putting something out there, I can check it out.
Makes perfect sense. Yeah, you see a lot of these content creators kind of, start from very little, and then eventually when they get enough of a following, they're putting out books and how-tos and all this stuff. So, yeah, that absolutely makes sense.
And since that's what I really want to do is this game creation myself, it felt logical,
Awesome. All right, so let's hit the dice again. 15. Do aliens exist? We got a fun one.
Yes, but not anywhere near us. I mean, the universe is vast. There's something out there.
Right, there has to be.
Yeah, but I'm thinking, I'm going to be in the camp that there's something out there, but I don't think they're visiting us. I think there's always something weird going on. I'm not going to deny there's always the possibility, but chances are so slim. I'm going to go on the scientific. Probably not.
Oh no! Come on, you had me so excited.
For visiting us.
Oh, okay. So in our lifetime.
In our lifetime, depending on what our lifetime changes to being, I kind of feel like our lifetimes aren't going to yet be that like really long lifetimes that we'll really find it. But maybe a couple generations we'll have people living long enough to see it.
There we go. And we won't build a damn wall when we find them. Let me just tell you that.
Yeah, really. Oh my god.
Sorry, not to get too political, but.
Oh no, I'm with you on that one.
Yeah. All right. Now moving on back to the dice before. Let's see if anyone's still with us. That's all right. Favorite movie? That's a fun one.
Ooh. This is a tough one too because I think it depends a lot on genres and stuff for myself.
Okay.
I think though the movie that I can call an actual movie that I always go back to and always enjoy watching is this little like independent movie called Gamers 2.
Gamers 2. I haven't seen that one. I'm a pretty big movie buff, man. I'll have to check that out.
It is really independent. So it was done by this small company. They had done like this first one that was like really unprofessional. Like you can't say it was unprofessional, but it was like the level of what they had to produce the movie was really small. I think they're based out of Seattle. They don't do a whole lot of things. It is the Dead Gentleman Society.
Okay. Was it like almost like a trauma film or like that kind of style?
I would say yes. It was that style. It's all about these group of people, and they play both themselves and characters in a role-playing game, and it's hilarious because it lives up to a lot of like the bad humor of a role-playing game too.
Nice.
Like they've done 3 movies. Second one's my favorite, followed by the first, followed by the third one. You might like the third one though because because unlike the first 2, which are more role-playing game based, that's collectible card game based.
Oh, nice. That's excellent.
Yes.
That's like my favorite Adventure Time episode with Card Wars. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
Or the South Park Magic one's pretty good too.
Yes, but it's definitely, I think the one that I can say I always go back to if I want to watch a movie.
Awesome, awesome. What about just like mainstream movie, like something that everyone?
Oh, that one's a little tougher. I think what I have to say for favorite more mainstream, if we're talking about like Hollywood movies,
Yeah.
I guess we'll say.
Sure.
Ooh, I think I will always enjoy. We'll say Aliens.
No, how did I know you were going to say that? Man, I swear to God, I knew you were going to say that. That was awesome.
Because the thing is, like, I have to think about it, and it's like there's a lot of movies I like, but like if I see that on TV, I'm like, I could probably watch that.
Yeah. Oh
You
yeah.
know?
Aliens, right? The second one.
Yeah, second one. Yes.
Yeah. And rest in peace, Bill Paxton. That sucks. We just lost him. He was great in that movie.
I know.
So
He had some of the better lines in that one too, but there were some great lines anyway.
he sure did.
I will always quote, they mostly come at night. Mostly.
We're screwed, man. We're all dead, man. Yeah. Let's go back. That was my horrible Bill Paxton impression.
Yes.
Let's go back to the dice. This is fun. 14. I can't even read my own handwriting. What is your
I've been there.
This is like a job interview. 5-year plan. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I hope to get to myself to a channel, my channel, where I'm financially sound. I am all right now, but I'm not really making any money whatsoever on any fronts. So I would like to be in a position where I feel like maybe I can relax. The channel's got enough growth that I can stabilize it, and I can throw some time towards maybe my game design. So I'm hoping to get at least my board game out by then.
Awesome.
I have most of it designed. I just have to do a lot of play testing on it, which I got some advice from PAX South about play testing it. I just have to finish that organization. Maybe write at least one of the role-playing games I started writing, finish it up.
Excellent.
That'd be nice.
It's awesome, man. That's some good goals. You have time for one more hit?
Sure.
One more roll. Let's make it a good one. Number 19. Okay, if you could live in any city in the world.
Ooh. See, this is a tough one because I tend to be lazy and despise certain things. So, I try to avoid places where I could worry about, natural disasters. I'm pretty good where all that is. But also, I hate the cold a lot. So it's sort of like somewhere like where I live, only slightly warmer. I don't know where, though.
Hey, I'm in Vegas. Come on out. Well, you'll probably melt out here. It's like 150 degrees in the summer.
Yes. So somewhere in between.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome,
I don't
man.
want any tornadoes. I don't want any earthquakes. I just want something a little warmer. That's it. I actually don't have an exact place I'd want to live, long term. Definitely have places I might want to live short term just to check them out. Probably I wouldn't mind spending more time in Paris because I was there once before.
No.
My sister lives there. I could always bum some time off of her if I could get there.
Excuse me. Nice.
I don't think she's got space for me though, but still. For long term.
Right.
I wouldn't mind spending some time in Japan just because I do like a lot of anime. And before then, then Godzilla. That was my big stick for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
I love a good giant monster movie. Oh, getting back to movies. I forgot one that I will, next to Aliens, Them.
Oh, nice.
I love that black and white one.
I have seen that.
I love that one.
Oh, it's excellent. It's excellent. Are you excited at all for Kong Skull Island or not so much?
I actually am. I the only one I know that's excited for it just because I'm like, look, this is the kind of thing I love a lot of. A good giant monster always makes me feel wonderful inside.
Absolutely. And I think Gareth Edwards did which it's going to be in the same universe. This is kind of like a movie discussion now, but he did the remake Godzilla, which I actually enjoyed quite a bit. So I think it's going to be, going forward, the franchise is going to be in good hands.
So, yeah, it's just another movie that I got to try to fit in the next couple of weeks, though. So, movie season for me has finally started again.
Yep, absolutely. All right, thank you so much. Any kind of upcoming projects that we haven't mentioned that you want to spoil?
Sure. As I said, I will be beginning some more role-playing games. One that's probably the closest to starting, which I'm not sure if anybody would have seen it yet, but I've begun to set up my first actual role-playing session on Twitch. It's going to be Treasure of the Lost Legion, 5th edition Spelljammer, which is Dungeons & Dragons Adventures in Space.
Wow.
And I've done 2 prequels for characters. I'm probably going to get another one out next Sunday, and hopefully I will have my 4th or maybe a 5th player soon to get their prequels out, and we'll get everything together and start doing those sessions every Sunday. It'll be fun.
Excellent. Yeah, go ahead.
That was the big project I'm really focusing on right now to get finished up.
Perfect. Well, Tantus, thank you so much for planeswalking in from the Dracovin Empire and from Southeast Philadelphia. Where can everyone find you?
They can find me at of course, you can find me on Twitter at @tdracovin. That's TDRACOVIN. You can, of course, find me on Twitch at Tantus Dracovin. That's www.twitch.tv/TANTUSNDRACOVIN. And, of course, you can find me on my YouTube channel, the most important of all, the Dracovin Empire, which is at YouTube/C/the Dracovin Empire.
Excellent. Yeah, please go subscribe to the Dracovin Empire. We could also find you on Amino, right? That's how we met.
Oh yeah, that's true. You can find me on Amino too. I believe I'm also at the Dracovin Empire there too.
Absolutely, it's been a real good service. At least for me, with this show, is it gets you in contact with other people extremely well. So please go check out MTG Amino. My name is Orzov Dunn on MTG Amino. You could find me there. You could also find me. You can find me on Facebook at They Said We Said. You could also find me on Instagram on They Said We Said as well. So that's it for us for this week. I want to thank my guests again, and we will be traversing the multiverse in search for more planeswalkers, and we'll see you soon.